Hey everyone, welcome back. Like I mentioned last week, I had a bunch of work and shows that I had been on, and so life had been really busy, and so I have a little bit of catching up to do as far as talking about what I've been up to. And that relates mostly to my full-time job. So, speaking of my full-time job, what's up? The aspect ratio on the monitor is a little bit funky. Are you coming VGA out on that? Thank you. Yep, bye. Yeah, so the last couple of weeks I was out on a bunch of shows and it was super busy. So some of those shows involved Comic-Con's FanX in Utah, and then I went to Texas. Texas in Fort somewhere. So I'm here at the airport getting ready to go home. It's been a long week, and so I'm tuning in from between Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas. I'm on my way home. So I was in charge of cutting cameras for a live event. Yeah, so I was in Fort Worth for that show, and for my full-time job, what I am involved in doing is I act as the V1 of the show, which is the video lead, unless my boss or somebody else is termed as that. But we go in and we have clients that have a convention that's happening, and so we have to bring in the video system that involves projection and cameras, and some now we're getting into LED walls and video playback and just all these other systems that we have to set up on site. And you normally have a day to 2 or 3 days depending on the size of the show, and then you run the show for a couple days and then you rip it all out and send it home. So you get to do a lot of exciting stuff with that. Coming from a camera background, this was a lot to learn because I'm now involved a lot in switchers and projection, which is a whole new ball game. A lot of what I do is mostly technical. It's not super artistic all the time, because you'll go in and you'll have like 32 projectors and you've got to do ultra wide projection, or we map onto different surfaces, and I'm not so much involved in the mapping. I kind of oversee everything, so I know a little bit about a lot of things on the shows, but not as in-depth as some of the other guys that work for us. We go in and we take our cameras or whatever we have on the show, and it's getting cables out, making sure what we refer to as the plumbing is right, so that all the video signals are the right signal and that everything's jamming together, because some switchers want every signal to be exactly the same and some switchers don't care as much, and then some viewing surfaces, whether it's a TV or a projector that we have to go to, they like different signals, whether it's interlaced or progressive, and so you have to make sure that the outputs to that are correct. So it's, like I said, it's been a huge learning curve, because I'm used to dealing with my camera, and just like, alright, the engineer figures that stuff out, but now I'm the guy that's trying to figure that out on the shows that I'm on. But I also get to be involved in a lot of really cool stuff. I've shot One Republic because they came to one of our shows, and we have a lot of big name bands that come to different clients' things. Kind of a cool benefit of my job is I get to see a lot of cool stuff. I mean, like, look at this cool speeder. I don't even know what it's from, but it's cool. It might not be morning where you are, but it's morning for me, and I am here bright and early. You can see nobody else is here, but that's going to change later on, because today is FanX, which is a pre-Comic-Con event. It happens a couple months before Comic-Con in Utah, and I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. I'm getting ready. I'm turning on all the video signals so that we can do the show today. We had some really cool people come to Comic-Con. We had a bunch of the people from Princess Bride, and then Sean and Gus from Psyched were there. And then what else? Weird Al. Weird Al is fabulous. He's super funny in real life, so that was really cool. And then some people from Oh, what's the show called?
Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time. So they had the girl that plays Belle and the guy that plays Robin Hood were both there. That's most of the people that I care about that I saw. And then they had like whatchamacallit competitions. Cosplay competitions. They also had a bunch of those. Oh yeah, crap. Totally didn't mention that. Good thing you're here, otherwise I'd miss some of the most exciting stuff. My wife is saving my butt right now and helping me remember my life. So the second day, we got told in the morning that we had to make a very important phone call happen. Stanley is sick, we found that out last night. Ow, that's bright. Hey, so
his doctor said...
His doctor said don't come to Salt Lake, so he's still in LA or wherever he lives.
And then we get here this morning.
And we find out that we have to set up a Skype feed with him. So we're gonna set this up to look at this monitor right here so that we can see him and then he can get a feedback from us so that the audience can see him. So hopefully this works. We find out that we have to Skype with Stanley. He wasn't feeling well and his doctors advised him not to come the day before, and he just felt so bad that he offered to Skype with us. So we had to make it so that he could see the audience from our cameras and that the audience could see him up on the big screens, which I helped a little bit with before the show started, but mostly my buddy Jordan made it work because I was sitting there switching the whole show and I didn't really have downtime. So that was really cool. It was kind of scary because we were doing tests up to like right before it was supposed to happen. But it worked, which is super cool. And then for the most part, that show was so busy. I left my seat probably 3 or 4 times during the whole show, and 2 of those times were to go home at the end of the day. So super jam-packed. One of the other times that I left, I did go over and I saw some of my buddies that were there. This is the first time I've had a break in a couple days, and I'm gonna go see a buddy of mine, so we'll see if I can find him. Keith Allen from K-Face TV. My buddy Keith, we've worked on a few projects together. Emergency exit only. So him and Nate are both selling stuff together, just having a good time. And Nate Bonham, who I kind of grew up with a little bit, we lived pretty close, and he's a phenomenal artist. And he's got a booth, and he's making custom-made leather jackets that look like this, or like that. Oh, there was the 501st there. I don't know if I got shots of that, but there are just tons of people with their awesome costumes there, because it's Comic-Con stuff. 501st, man. I think the 501st is one of the best things ever created. I got Darth Vader shorts! My son's super cool. He's got Darth Vader shorts. So one side project, I'll see if I can get a link to it, but I helped a buddy with really quickly is this thing called Tiny Tree, and he's gonna paint 1,000 trees in efforts to get donations so that he has enough money to help plant 100,000 trees. And so I'll try and get a link to his Kickstarter in the description. But so go and donate to that because that's super cool. I was able to shoot a couple shots and then edit it together really quick. I didn't have a whole lot of time. So that was a fun project. And then I'm gearing up for the Western that I told you about and for the surfing documentary that's a little bit more on the back burner. But keep an eye out for those projects and I'll give you insights as they come along. So thanks for tuning in. Hit subscribe, share it with your friends, and live life boldly.